U.S. presidential hopefuls are making final pitches to people in Iowa, where the first votes for party nominations will take place later on Monday. Polls suggest that Republican Donald Trump has a narrow lead over Ted Cruz, but both are well ahead of the others. The Democratic race is slightly tighter, with former U.S. Secretary of State Hillary Clinton edging ahead of Vermont Senator Bernie Sanders. Each party's nominee will contest the presidential election in November. Over the weekend, the candidates toured the sparsely populated Midwestern state of Iowa in an attempt to court undecided voters. Campaigning is expected to continue until voting starts at 1900 hours local time on Monday, 1 o'clock GMT on Tuesday. While final rallies were held on Sunday, candidates have smaller meetings and parties planned as they try to gain last-minute votes. This first electoral test is seen as key because victory can boost campaign momentum as other states vote. Analysis: John Sopel, BBC North America editor, Iowa. On the Democratic side, Hillary Clinton is facing a fierce challenge from the new kid on the block, Bernie Sanders, the 74-year-old senator from Vermont. He describes himself as a democratic socialist. He wants to raise taxes. He doesn't argue with the description of himself as a grumpy old man, but he has been attracting thousands and thousands of people to his rallies and millions of dollars in donations. His popularity seems to fly in the face of all conventional political wisdom. But then again, everything about this race so far has flown in the face of all the hoary old truths. All eyes on Iowa in unpredictable race. Among the wide Republican field, recent polling suggests that businessman Mr. Trump has a comfortable, though not certain, lead over his main rival, Texas Senator Mr. Cruz. The Democrats' far smaller field, 3 candidates as opposed to 11, appears to be more competitive. Frontrunner Hillary Clinton has a commanding lead nationally, but in Iowa she is narrowly ahead of self-proclaimed Democratic Socialist Bernie Sanders. Supporters of the main candidates in Iowa gave very different reasons for their backing. Suzanne Wood said Mr. Cruz was someone who knows how to argue for conservative values, citing his stance on gun rights and religion. For Julian Raven, an artist and preacher campaigning for Donald Trump, the Republican has the courage that is required to match up with the existential threats that we face as a Western civilization. Bernie Sanders supporter Mike Bates said he's turning out the young voters. He's like the cool grandpa. Meanwhile, Hillary Clinton backer Joan Pinnell said the former Secretary of State could personally understand the struggle that it is to be female. Iowa has an unusual election system called a caucus, which involves people gathering at private homes, schools, and other public buildings across the state at 1900 hours local time, 1 o'clock GMT Tuesday. Democratic voters divide themselves into groups based on their preferred candidate, but the Republican caucus process is more like a traditional ballot. Results are expected within hours. Correspondents point out that a sizable number of Iowans in previous votes made their decision on the final day. The last Republican winner in Iowa who won the party's nomination was George W. Bush 16 years ago. One issue that could have implications in Iowa is the weather. The National Weather Service is currently forecasting a winter storm to strike the area on Monday night. Candidates are worried that the incoming storm could prevent their voters turning out earlier in the evening. Mr. Trump joked with his supporters on Saturday, saying, "You're from Iowa. Are you afraid of snow?" Iowan law mandates that it be the first state, territory, or any other group to select delegates in the presidential nomination. This first vote in Iowa will be followed in the weeks ahead by more ballots in the 49 other states plus U.S. territories. Each party's nominee will be chosen by the summer, and the U.S. will pick its next president in November.